Luke 1:28. And the angel came in unto her and said, Hail, thou art highly favored. The Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women. Now we're going to Luke 1, verses 34 through 38. Then said Mary unto the angel, How shall this be? Come on, has anybody ever wondered that? God has told you something and you've wondered, how shall this be? Seeing that I know not a man. Mary was not asking in doubt. I want you to understand that, because sometimes when we ask, how can it be? We are asking in doubt. But this is not the case for her, because she is explaining why she is asking that, because she understands the natural conception of a child. How shall this be, seeing that I know not a man? And the angel answered and said unto her, The Holy Ghost shall come upon thee, and the power of the highest shall overshadow thee. Therefore also that holy thing which shall be born of thee shall be called the Son of God. And behold, thy cousin Elizabeth, she has also conceived a son in her old age. And this is the 6th month with her. She's been pregnant for 6 months. Who was called barren. For with God, nothing shall be impossible. And Mary said, Behold, the handmaid of the Lord, be it unto me according to thy word. And the angel departed from her. I'm going to read verse 38 again in our hearing. Watch this. And Mary said, Behold, the handmaid of the Lord, be it unto me according to thy word. And the angel departed from her. I would like to use for a subject message on today. Watch this. Affirmation in absence. Affirmation in absence. An affirmation, a statement or a proposition that is declared to be true is called an affirmation. Affirmation is a statement or a belief or an idea that is declared to be true. That is what an affirmation is. And an affirmation is something that we all need. From time to time, we all need to be reminded of what's true, especially in the presence of challenge and opposition. Come on, did somebody just catch what Pastor Fran was saying right there? There are some times that we need to be reminded. We need to have an affirmation of what God is saying, especially in the face of challenge and opposition. And though we all need affirmation, the sourcing of the affirmation is just as important. Come on here. Watch this and understand what Pastor Fran is saying. The sourcing of the affirmation is just as important. I want you to think about this for a minute. Where's your source of affirmation? The things that you are believing God for. Who is or what is your source of affirmation? What is your source of affirmation? Knowing what God has said is one thing. I want y'all to catch this right here. Knowing what God has said is one thing. But believing what God has said is a whole different thing. I want y'all to catch that right there. Knowing what God said is one thing, but believing what God has said is on a whole different level. Believing what God has said. Watch this. Knowing what God has said is like having a car with no engine. Catch this. Knowing what God has said is like having a car with no engine. But believing what God has said is like not only having the car, but having the keys. It has an engine. It's full of gas. And it's ready to go. Come on. Believing what God says changes your getting there. Woo, oh God. believing what God says changes if you will get there. Did somebody catch that? Because there are a lot of us that, watch this, we know what God has said. And the problem is not with what he said. How many of us know that sometimes the problem is me believing what God has said? Can we just be honest about it? Because when I look at all the natural circumstances and the natural elements of this thing, is telling me that it's not going to happen. Can anybody else attest to what Pastor Fran is saying? I know what God has said. I know that God said I'm going to have the house. I know that God said I was going to finish school. I know that God said I was going to finish well and strong. But there were some days that there were some challenges that fought what God said in my mind. And I had to keep reminding myself. I had to keep reminding myself. Is there anybody else that says, I know what God has said. I know what God has said. But then when I look at everything that I see, that's where my struggle and my fight comes in at. Because now I'm having to override what I see. I'm having to override what I feel. I'm having to override statistics. Ooh, oh my God. And in today's message, it's going to focus on the absence of something, but it's going to focus on the affirmation. I want y'all to catch that. Today's message is going to mention what was absent, but it's also going to focus on affirmation. Is anybody catching what I'm saying? Because sometimes we need to understand that even though we are focused on what's absent, but we mention affirmation. But if you're hearing what Pastor Fran is saying on today, I said we're going to mention what is absent, but we're going to focus on affirmation. And I told you at the beginning of this message, I said an affirmation is a statement or a proposition that is declared to be true. So watch this. What we are going to focus on and what we are going to major on in this message on today is what is declared to be true. We're going to mention what is absent, but we're going to focus and we're going to major on our affirmation. Here it is in our text. Mary, she is in age. Want y'all to understand this. She's in age. She's not married. She's in the second stage of being married. So in that day and time, they had 3 stages. It was the arrangement, the betrothal, and then the marriage. So the betrothal is like a verbal commitment. It's like a verbal commitment. In our terms today, it would be equivalent to an engagement. That means we are going to be dedicated, or we're going to be exclusively to each other. So it would be considered to the engagement. There were 3 stages at that time. There was the arrangement, there was the betrothal or the engagement, and then there was the actual marriage. So she is, watch this, she is engaged. She is engaged. To make it a little bit more plain and simple for us, she is engaged. And she gets a visitation from Gabriel, the angel Gabriel. And he tells her the things that we read. He told her that she was highly favored. He told her that God is with her. And he told her that she is going to have a child. So when Mary asks the question, she said, how can this be? She said, because I don't know a man. So basically what Mary said, I've never been intimate with a man. So I know in my carnal mind, I know in my natural thinking, she's saying that this can't be by natural circumstances on my own, because I have never had the experience of being with a man. I don't know what it's like to be with a man. So whenever she asks that question to him, she's not asking in doubt. She's telling him her situation. She said, I don't understand. She said, because I've never been with a man, and up under natural circumstances, that is the only way that it can happen. So nevertheless, watch this. Nevertheless, She's dealing with all of this. I want to paint this background for you because watch this. He is telling her what is going to happen. But her situation and her circumstances don't match what he told her is going to happen. Can anybody else relate to that? I know what God has told me. I know that there's some things that God has told me, but when I look at my natural situation, when I look at my natural circumstances, there is no way that it can be possible. It can't even happen. But still, yet God is telling me that it is going to happen. I also want to bring to mention, because some people might think, oh, well, she just should have believed God. But watch this. She was also dealing with the fact of being divorced before she even got married. Because now you're telling me that I'm going to have this baby, and I've never been with a man at all. She in her mind, I'm sure that she's thinking, what is Joseph going to think? What are the people going to think? I'm going to be a social outcast. My parents are going to be let down. They're going to feel like I did something that I didn't even do. Come on. Sometimes if we're not careful, wondering what people are going to think will cause us to miss what God has said. Come on. Wondering what people are going to think or how people are going to feel about what God has told me can sometimes be a stumbling block for me or in me. And I got to quickly get over what people are thinking or what people may think or what people may say. I got to get over that. Somebody just type it over in the chat. I got to get over that. I got to get over that. So I want you to understand, and I'm trying to paint the picture for you. It was not as easy as we read it to be. Come on. It was not as easy as we read it to be. And sometimes when God sends a word, people, in their up moment are thinking, oh, well, you should just breeze right on through that. It should just trust God, just believe God. But they don't understand there are some other things that you are fighting in there. Come on here. There are some other things that you are fighting in there. I'm fighting. And sometimes, watch this, as Mary and Gabriel, the angel Gabriel, is having this conversation, there was something. She's looking at all the possibilities. She's looking at being a social outcast. She's looking at, watch this, never being able to be married because, watch this, I don't even know how Joseph is going to respond. Sometimes we know what we should do, but we scared of how somebody else is going to respond. Woo. We know what we should do, but we scared of how somebody else is going to respond to doing or to being in the position that God has told us to be in. And as we said at 9:50, I got to get over that. I got to get over that. I got to get over that. But watch this. He's telling her, this message is not even going to be long today because it's not going to take long for you to get it. I told you that this message was prophetically instruction because I'm sure all of those things are going through her mind. Oof. Watch this. I don't want anybody to think that when God sends a word to you that you are not spiritual. If there is a moment that you think within yourself, oh God, you're going to do what? But watch this. This is now where you got to get over that and you got to operate in the word now. You got to operate in the word now. You got to focus because watch this. Even though those things are running through her mind, there is a response that Mary gives to everything that Gabriel is saying to her. Watch this. Do you not know that God could have easily just impregnated her and not told her anything? Huh? He could have just as easily impregnated her and not told her anything. But there was something, watch this. He just didn't want to do it for her. He wanted to do it through her. And sometimes we are wondering, why come God just don't do it like this? Why come God just don't do it like that? Because God is not just wanting to do it for you. He's wanting to do it through you. And sometimes we only want God to do it that way is because we don't want the struggles and the fight that comes along with holding on to what he said. But watch this. Oftentimes God will give you his word so you have something to hold on to. Whew. That when you are facing situations that don't look like what he said, you have something to hold on to. Catch that. And he works according to the faith that worketh in you. So he has to give you his word, because his word, you hearing his word, should produce faith in you. And that faith that is produced in you gives you something to hold on to. Do I have anybody that says, I got something to hold on to? I'm no longer even going to look at what God said as if it's burdensome to me. Watch this. Now you're in a position that you have to change your perspective, because oftentimes if we are not careful, we look at God's word as if it is burdensome to us because we can't see it, when all God is trying to do is give you something to hold on to when life's challenges try to produce or present itself to you as if God is not going to do what he said he was going to do. Now you look at it differently. I got something to hold on to. This is why, watch this, I can get up every morning and I can give you my affirmation, because all I am doing is telling you that I am holding on to whatever God has said about me. In the face of adversity, in the face of challenges, in the face of opposition, I got something to hold on to. So if God says I'm healed, I'm healed. If God says I am financially free, I am financially free. If God says whatever he said about my children, about my future, about my business, about my life in him, I'm going to hold on to everything that God says despite the opposition. I might have some moments in there that my grip gets a little bit loose. But watch this. When I come back and I have my moments of affirmation, then watch this. It tightens up my grip. Is there anybody that says, I got to tighten up my grip on today? Because there are some things that God has been telling me. There are some things that God has said about me. And my grip got a little bit loose because of what I saw. But after this word on today, I got to tighten my grip up on today. How am I going to tighten up my grip, Pastor Frank? Can you please help me with that? Because here it is. Mary is with the angel Gabriel, and he's telling her who she is. And oftentimes we get caught up because, watch this, God is telling us who we are in him, but I'm looking at who I am in myself. Watch this. We talked about this Thursday night in Bible study. I'm looking at the 5, not realizing that in him I'm 105. Oh God. Not realizing when I'm looking at myself through him, I'm that plus some. I'm more than enough in him. So Mary, she knows who she is. Watch this. I need for y'all to look at the transition in this. If you'll bring that up for me, Altony, because we're going to go back to verse 38. Because you just asked me, how can I tighten up my grip? Because there's some things that God has said about me. And I was okay in month 1. I was okay in month 2. Month 3, I'm getting a little tired. Month 4, I'm exhausted. About a year, it's a thread now. I have this shirt that says, when you're hanging on by a thread, make sure the thread is the hem of his garment. Come on. So Mary is looking at the situation. She knows the situation in its natural. But right here, I told you that this word was prophetically instructional. Because I need for you to look at verse 38. Gabriel is telling her, and then Gabriel gives her proof. He said, you see your cousin Elizabeth. God did that. He even reminded her that Elizabeth was barren. This is why it's good for the saints of God and the people of God to testify. This is why it's good for you to tell of God's goodness, because you never know how the goodness of God that has happened in your life is going to encourage somebody else's faith. Come on. This is why it's good to tell somebody at how God brought you through and how God kept you and how God made a way for you, because you never know how it's going to encourage somebody else. And Gabriel is reminding her, and he's telling her, he said, you see what happened to your cousin? She good and pregnant. She's 6 months in now. Woo, oh God. She's 6 months in now. Forget about the fact, LaShawna, they're going to think that you being bougie. They're going to think you being braggadocious. Sometimes you need to tell them. You don't have to play it down. Sometimes you need to tell them so they can see the goodness of God. Huh? And Gabriel was reminding Mary. He said she couldn't do this on her own. She was up there in age. They had position, but they was being looked at funny anyway, because they ain't have no children. And God changed the course of their life. After all those years, I need for somebody to stop right there and just type over in the chat section, after all those years. It's going to be done. Not it's still going to be done, because God's mind never changed about doing it. He was just waiting on something from you. I told you this was going to be prophetically instructional. He was just waiting on something from you. Ooh. After all those years, it's going to be done. I need for you to take out still, because God's mind never changed. After all those years, it's going to be done. Just like he said, after all those years, it's going to be done. I told you why I asked you to type it that way, because again, God's mind never changed about it being done. The only thing that changed was the calendar. But now what's getting ready to change is my affirmation. Watch this. Now my affirmation is going to change, because watch this. No longer am I seeing myself without it. Woo, oh God. Catch this. No longer is Mary seeing herself as just Mary. Oh God. That's been the problem with some of us. That's why we couldn't receive what God has said, because we just been seeing ourselves as Tanya. We just been seeing ourselves as Evangelist Bromel. But there comes a time that you got to step out of what you see and see yourself as how God has called you to be. This is why the angel Gabriel came to tell her who she was. There are plenty of us that God has told us who we were, but we keep looking at ourselves as just, I'm just Elsie's daughter. I'm just Aretta's mama. I'm just Jadaria's mama. I'm just Dee's mama. I'm just Leah Rose's grandmama. I'm just the lady that does hair. No, you are the highly favored and anointed person of God. I'm just not LaShawn. I'm not just Donnie Mae's girl. I'm just not twin sister. Whew. In God and through God, I'm more than that. But watch this now. It was one thing for Gabriel to tell Mary who she was. But now Mary's about to pick up the keys and she about to crank up the engine. Because she know that it's full of gas now. Is there anybody that says, I'm about to pick up these keys because I got the engine, it is revved up, it's full of gas, and I'm about to push the gas pedal on this thing? What you going to push the gas pedal on, Pastor Fran? I'm glad you asked me. You going to push the gas pedal on your mouth. Whew. You use your mouth for everything else. Now use your mouth to be the gas pedal to the promises of God concerning you. Did somebody just catch what I'm saying? No, that's why we're not talking about no dress. That's why we're not talking about what we see on social media. Because now I got to push the gas pedal of my mouth, watch this, to line up with what God is saying. Vroom, 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 vroom. I got somewhere to go. I got somewhere to be. Because I need for you to look at how Mary responded. You don't got to go there, Antonio. Y'all go there in verse 38. Because look at how Mary responded. She just didn't think it was enough for her to think it inside of her head. And sometimes that's the problem. We want to get caught up with just thinking it and think that it is an affirmation. But Mary shows us through text. And the scriptures make it known to us what she did. She just didn't think it. Because if you look at verse 38 says how Mary responded. Mary opened her mouth and she decreed herself to be just like God called her. Come on here. Is there anybody that says, I'm going to decree, I'm going to push the gas pedal on my mouth? I don't care what they think. I don't care what they say. I'm going to say I am who God says I am. I'm going to have what God says I can have. I'm going to do what God said I can do. If God says that I can finish school and go through school for 2 years with no job, I'm going through this thing. Come on here. Woo. If God says I'm going to finish good, finish well, and finish strong, then that's exactly what it's going to be. If God says I'm the head and not the tail, I am just that. It was not enough for Mary to just think about what the angel Gabriel had told her. Come on here. This is where some of us have been, watch this. This is where we're caught between promise and manifestation. Because all we've been doing is thinking about what God has said about us. Come on here. But after Mary got the word, about what God has said about her, look at how she responds in verse 38. Because again, this is where some of us are caught up at. We're caught in the moment of when God spoke it and in manifestation. What do I do in between God speaking it and it coming to pass? Well, let me show you what Mary did in between. When she was in between, I just need for somebody to say, I'm in between right now, but I'm on my way somewhere. I'm in between what he said and manifestation. But now I know my way out. I'm getting ready to see my way out of this thing now. I'm getting ready to see my way out of where he spoke it. Being in between where he spoke it and it manifesting itself. Because after Gabriel spoke to her, look at how Mary responded. And Mary said, I told you this word is prophetically instructional. Catch this. And Mary said, it did not say that Mary thought. It did not say that Mary wrote. It's not saying that she didn't do those things. But the Bible is not making that mention to us because it's trying to put emphasis on what we need to do. It's okay for you to write it. It's okay for you to think it. But watch this, because we are faith believers and everything, watch this, that is going to activate in our life is activated through the spoken word of God. We also have to speak it. Come on here. This is where some of us have been caught. We've been caught between the place of where he spoke it and manifestation, all because we have not spoken, or we spoke it, but we did not speak it in faith. I'm talking about speaking it in faith, speaking it with a confidence. You're overriding how you feel. You're overriding what they may think. You're overriding what they may not like. You're overriding what you see. You're overriding the statistics of it, because now I'm focused on nothing but what God has said, because now we're going to look at it in verse 38. And Mary said, behold, the handmaid of the Lord. Basically what Mary said was, she said, I'm her. I'm her. Somebody just type it over in the chat saying, I'm her, I'm him. Whatever your gender is, not the gender that you want to be, but whatever gender that God created you to be. Watch this. Type that over in the chat section. I am her, I am him. That's what Mary did. Mary said, that's me. Uh-oh. Watch this. Pastor Fran about to try you on something now. Watch this. Who is the blessed of the Lord? Somebody need to type it over in chat. That's me. Oh, yeah, there you go. I am her. I am her. Who is the healed of the Lord? That's me. That's all Mary is saying. Mary said, everything that God said about me, I agree. Oh, God. Huh? But Mary's not, watch this. Mary's just not thinking it. Mary is saying it. So every time, every time I say something, that's where you need to be decreeing and declaring, I'm that guy, I'm that girl, I'm that man, I'm that woman. That is me. That's me. That's me. I am blessed. I am highly favored of the Lord. That's me. I am healed. That's me. I am, watch this, I am abundantly, exceedingly, above all I could ask or think, blessed. That's me. I have more than enough. That's me. I am the righteous of God. That's me. I am holy and set apart. That's me. We wasn't going to leave that part out. Come on. Everything that Gabriel said, she said, that's me. Whew, oh, God. Somebody should have caught that right there. She's no longer looking at herself as, watch this, as being Joseph's wife or future wife. She ain't even looking at this thing in the natural anymore. She's looking at it completely in the spirit. Woo, oh, God. Watch this. That is the only way that you are going to walk in manifestation of what God has promised you. You got to see this thing through the Spirit of God. You got to see this thing through the Word of God. You got to stop looking at what you don't have. You got to stop looking at what family you was born to. You got to stop looking at what town you live in. You got to stop looking at the fact that there's nothing to do in this town. All it is to do is this, and how is this going to come out of that? And the people this and the people that. Whatever God said concerning you, watch that. You need to respond. And watch this. Watch what Mary said. She just didn't say that it's me. She said, that ain't even enough. I can't even stop right there. She said, it's me. But the next part of the scripture says, now Mary says, be it unto me. Oh, God, when is the last time that you said, be it unto me according to the word of the Lord? Oh, God, I told you this was prophetically instructional. So whatever God has said concerning you, that you know that God has said concerning you, your response needs to be, it is me. Be it done unto me according to the word of the Lord. It is me. It is me. Blessed, highly favored, walking in abundance. I'm the head and not the tail. I am healed. In my mind, in my spirit, in my body, I'm healed. Whose children are walking upright and holy before the Lord. That's me. Who's debt free? Oh, no man, nothing but love. That's me. Who's prosperous in everything that they put their hands to? That's me. But watch this. Mary didn't stop just by saying that's me. Then she goes on, she said, and now she says, be it unto me. So what she's saying now, she said, come on, I'm ready for you. Huh? She said, come on, I'm ready for you. I'm ready to receive the word. Ooh, oh, God. I'm ready to receive the word. I'm ready to receive the manifestation of the word of God. Y'all know how we do sometimes when we trying to get somebody attention. Watch this. This is all Mary is doing. Mary is up. Every time she opens her mouth and she decreed, behold, the handmaid of the Lord, be it unto me according to the word. She's actually giving that thing something to look at. She said, here I am. Here I am. Here I am. I need for you to understand, every time you open your mouth, every time you decree, every time you affirm and you do affirmation, all you are doing, you're saying, this is where you are supposed to be. I'm ready to receive you. This is where you're supposed to be. I'm ready to receive you. Is there anybody else that is in your moment of faith right now that you're going to carry beyond this platform, that you're saying, here it is. Here, this is where you're supposed to be, right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. Antonio is over there. He don't have his hands up, but watch this. If I'm up here and I got my hands up, y'all know how it is on the basketball court. They got your hands up. You got your hands up. The person got the ball and they telling you, they said, they got their hands up and they got their hands out. They're basically telling you, I'm free to receive the pass. Come on here. If anybody that said, I'm ready, I'm free to receive the pass. This is why I got my hands up. I'm trying to let you know that I'm ready to receive this thing. This is why I got to open my mouth every day. This is why I got to say it multiple times within a day. It is me, the handmaid of the Lord. It is me. Be it unto me according to the word of the Lord. Be it unto me in my finances. Be it unto me in my mind. Be it unto me in my righteous living. Be it unto me in my healing. And y'all know how it is when you got that star player on your team. If you got an Asia on your team, come on. If you got an Asia Wilson on your team, they tell you, just get the ball to Asia. Come on here. I came to tell y'all, some of y'all are the Asia Wilsons of your team. God is like, get the ball to LaShawn. She gonna do something with it. Get the ball to Evangelist Bromel. She gonna do something with it. But watch this. When Asia start calling for the ball, Sean, what they do, they get her the ball. There's some of us that say, we need to call for the ball. Call for the ball. This is why Asia's not standing over there just be like, she said, hey. Asia clapping her hands. Asia's using her voice because she's letting the point guard know that she's ready to receive. Not only is she ready to receive, but she gonna score the basket. They say, get Asia the ball. Get Asia the ball. And some of y'all on the team of the Lord. And God is saying, I'm ready to put it in their hands. I just need for them to call for the ball. Huh? Asia got him post up. She big and she tall. She got him post up. She calling. She got him like this. Because she knows she going to free up this other hand. She holding him off with that one. But she's letting them know, get me the ball. I'm here. In my closing, your affirmation is calling for the ball. You already on the team. You on Team Jesus. You on Team Jesus. You can't score if you don't call for the ball. Come on. Some of us just been thinking. You will never catch Asia Wilson just sitting there thinking. And they got this thing in basketball they even call practice. Some people don't like practice now. But practice gets you prepared for the real game. This is why through the week, throughout the days, you got to be calling that thing. You got to be getting ready to receive it. This is why I just can't do it on Sunday. This is why I just can't do it on Thursday. I got to practice whether the coach is there or not. Woo, come on. Because there is a thing called off season. That tells how dedicated you are. because most athletes are still putting in that work in the off season. Come on here. If you want to play at a certain level, you still doing it in the off season. Come on. In those moments that you don't see nothing, that's your off season. Are you still putting in that work? Are you still putting in that work? Or are you still calling for the ball? So in game time, your team comes away with the win. I want to be that person that God can say, I can trust her with that. You want to be that man. You want to be that woman. You want to be that person that God says, get them the promise. Because I can trust them with it. Get them. Get it to them. I can trust Bridget with it. But Bridget is just not sitting there thinking about scoring. Bridget is putting in that work even in the off season. Hey, I'm open. I'm open. I'm open. I'm open. That needs to be your decree and your declaration. That needs to be your affirmation. Even in this moment where you can't see it. You don't have to see it. You just have to know he said it. And then after you know that he said it, then you have to agree. And it has to become your affirmation. You have to say, behold, I'm the hand. It's me. It's me. It's me. Be it unto me according to thy word, according to the word of the Lord. And to just put it in short, it is so according to the word of the Lord. Come on to me. Come to me. I'm free to receive it. I'm free to receive it. Your affirmation in absence is going to put you in position to be present with the promise.